Hey everyone, welcome to Code and Stuff. We're excited to have you join us today. If you're new to programming, getting your development environment set up can be one of the biggest hurdles. It can be frustrating to spend hours configuring your computer before you even write a single line of code. And so that's why in today's video, we're going to show you how to use GitHub CodeSpaces with Visual Studio Code. This will let you start coding right away without worrying about complex setup on your local machine. By the end of this video, you'll be able to create a code space and run a simple Ruby program. So let's get started. So what are GitHub CodeSpaces exactly? I want you to think of them as fully configured development environments in the cloud. Instead of installing programming languages, libraries, and tools on your computer, you can access a pre-configured environment directly through your browser or Visual Studio Code. And the best part is that it's free for personal use with a monthly quota of hours that's more than enough for learning. GitHub gives you 60 core hours per month on the free plan, which is perfect for beginners. Using CodeSpaces means you don't need to install programming languages on your computer. Your environment will be consistent no matter what computer you're using. You can start coding immediately instead of troubleshooting setup issues, and you can work on projects from any device with internet access. For our future tutorials and videos, we'll be using CodeSpaces so you can follow along regardless of whether you're on Windows, Mac, or even a Chromebook. So, before we begin, you'll need two things. First, a GitHub account. If you don't have one yet, head over to github.com and sign up for a free account. It only takes a minute. The link to do so will be found in the description below. Secondly, you'll need Visual Studio Code installed on your computer. You can download it for free from code.visualstudio.com. Once again, the link for that will be found in the description. If you already have both of these, great. Let's move on to setting up your first code space. So this is my GitHub homepage, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this button here to create a new repository. We are on this page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to name our repository my first code space. I'm going to pick an owner. This is going to be my username. I have a lot of choices in there because I am a member of a number of organizations, but for you, you should have only one choice, and that's your username. Okay. We're going to make sure that we have this set to public. There's some other stuff we're just going to leave alone, and we're going to click the Create a Repository button. And what it's done is create a repository on GitHub called My First Code Space. Now that we have this repository, we're going to create a code space for it. So here on the left-hand side, we are going to click Create a Code Space, and it's going to confirm that this is what I'm going to this is going to be the repository it's attached to. And we're going to click this button. Okay, from here, it's going to ask to open up my Visual Studio Code on my computer with it. And that's fantastic. I'm going to open the link, and Visual Studio Code will appear. And it's going to ask me, hey, would you like to install the GitHub CodeSpaces extension from GitHub? This is an extension for Visual Studio Code that lets our editor on our computer talk to CodeSpaces in the cloud. I don't have this installed here, so I'm going to hit yes, I do, and I want to sync that extension. It's going to install it, and then it's going to start up and create our code space for us. This will only happen the first time if you have yet to install the CodeSpaces extension. After this, that won't appear. But it will take just a hot second for the code space to create. And the first time we do this, it might take a minute or two. Cool. We can see here, once we have something appears like this, code spaces on the lower left-hand corner, we know that Visual Studio Code is now connected to our code space. Let's take a look around. On the left-hand side here, we see our Explorer, and this shows our views. We have a readme.md file in here. This is automatically created when we create the repository, and that's all we have. It's easy enough. What we want to do to make sure everything's working is that we're going to click on Terminal here and New Terminal. This is going to open up a terminal, and we have this appear here. That looks like it's going. This is where we're going to run our code shortly. So now that it appears that we are connected to our code space, let us write some code. We're going to write a simple Ruby program just to make sure everything's working. I'm going to right click here in the Explorer view. I'm going to make a new file and I'm going to call it hello.rb. The .rb lets our computer know that this is a Ruby file. And because we have that, Visual Studio Code knows this is a Ruby file, and it's given this nice little Ruby icon to the left-hand side, to the left of the file name, to let us know that, hey, this is a Ruby file we're working with. And so now we are going to write our Hello World program. Let's write some following code. This is my first Ruby program in a code space. Puts hello world. Oops. Puts welcome to code and stuff. All right, so let's break down what this code does. Lines that start with a hash symbol are comments. They're ignored by Ruby and are just for humans, us, to read. So look at this, I know that hey, this is my first Ruby program in a code space. The puts command stands for put string, and it prints text to the screen. The text inside the quotation marks is what will be displayed when we run the program. So what we're going to do is we're going to save our file. This white dot here means that I've made some changes to this file, but I have not yet saved it. On a PC, you'll hit Control-S to save. On a Mac, you'll hit Command-S to save. I am on a Mac, and I'm going to hit Command-S right now. And as you can see, that white dot went away, and my file has been run. My file is saved. So I am getting a little ahead of myself. To run our program, we're going to go to the terminal at the bottom of VS Code and type in ruby hello.rb and hit enter. And look at that. Our messages are printed to the terminal. You've just created and run your first Ruby program using GitHub CodeSpaces. The most important thing to understand is that this code is running in the cloud and not on our computer. Our computer doesn't need Ruby installed at all. And that's it. You've successfully set up GitHub CodeSpaces, connected it to Visual Studio Code, and created your first Ruby program. The great thing about CodeSpaces is that your environment will be saved, so the next time you come back, everything will be exactly as you left it. You can access your CodeSpaces from the GitHub website or directly from VS Code. In future tutorials, we'll build on this foundation to create more complex programs using Ruby, JavaScript, and eventually Ruby on Rails. And since we're all using the same development environment in CodeSpaces, you won't have to worry about setup differences. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments. And if you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more beginner-friendly programming tutorials. Remember, at Code and Stuff, we believe that everyone can learn to code. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.